Alright, so now we are going to discuss about overview of data security. Alright, so data security, what's security? Security is basically deciding who can see what, right? In any kinds of security, especially in data security, we can configure Salesforce on who can log in to Salesforce. They have to have a user. And once they are logged in, what is their access level? What can they see? What can they modify? And things like that. So in this particular module, it's just about the overview. So let's dive into our Trailhead org and discuss about the organization, objects, fields, records, and that's basically it, right? So if I launch my Trailhead playground, I'm gonna go up here and hands-on org. So this is an org. This is a Salesforce org, right? So if I click here, it's going to log me in to the organization, to the org. In this case, just a Trailhead playground orgs, so organization. So I click on this, it pops me up and it logs me in. And I see what I see now. It's part of the data security configuration. So I can change how or what I see on the configuration level. So once I logged in, I only see opportunities and nothing else. I don't have access to any of these things. We can actually do that, and we will actually do that when we are discussing in depth on each point over here. So right now it's just overview, and I'm just going to take you on an overview level of what we are discussing about data security. So this is the Salesforce organization, right? This whole thing. You're logged into this instance. Playful Wolf, this is the Salesforce org we are logged into. So we can set the configuration, like what time we can log into, or if we need to use a two password authentication, not two password, with the access token thing, and then you have to use your phone to enter the access code. You can also activate that, and you can decide who can log in, from which location people can log into your org. For example, only from the office, or if you are a manager, you can also log in using your mobile phone and things like that. So that's a part of data security. So this is an org, right? The Salesforce organization. So what is the next part is the object. Of course, you've known this. We've talked about objects all throughout the modules, from Salesforce, Trailhead, Admin Beginner, and Admin Intermediate as well. So object level mean if you go to the gear icon and go to your setup, and you can see all the objects here, right? So this is all the objects. Now you can decide who get to see what. For example, a swimming instructor can only see the opportunity object and nothing else. None of this the swimming instructor can see. Why would they need to see this? There is no use for them at all, right? So we can block everything out, and the swimming instructor can only see the opportunity, which is the swimming lessons. We will do just that when we discuss about the object level on here. The object level, the control access to objects, okay? What about fields? Same thing, fields on the objects that are fields, remember? So if I go to my opportunity object on here, these are the fields, and then you can decide if a person can see all the fields available or just the lessons here and nothing else, and things like that. So you can decide who get to see which field. Even if they get to see it, is it a read only, meaning they can only see the field, or can they modify it? They can edit the field. So that is field level security. What about records? Records are the data, which we have discussed in the admin beginner or in one of the module for admin intermediate. I forgot. But a record is, if we go back here and say I want to see the students, this, and I change to my students, this is a record, right? So Stephen Kane is a record, John West is a record, Lenore Wilburn is a record. Each of these are records. So we get to decide if a swimming instructor get to log into the Salesforce org for Red Cross Swimming Kids program. What can they see? They can only see their own students. They can't see other people's students, and they can't see the swimming pool manager records. They can't see anything else but just their own students, right? So it's not confusing for them as well, because it is totally irrelevant for them to see all the other stuff. Okay, so that's basically what it means. So on the record level, you can also customize the organization-wide defaults. It specifies the default level of access users have to each other's records. So that's the basic configuration. So for example, students, if I go back here, can anybody see students? So what's the basic most restrictive access? Probably anybody can see a student that are linked to their own account. So for a swimming instructor, they can see students belongs to them. And for the swimming pool manager, they can only see students that are enrolled to take swimming lessons in their swimming pool, not everybody, because it's irrelevant for them to see everybody, right? So, and then you can decide from the role hierarchies who can see. Is it the swimming instructor? Is it the swimming instructor supervisor or the manager maybe? For example, the manager can see all the students that belongs to all the swimming instructor that he or she manage. So for example, Joe is the manager, and Joe has 5 swimming instructor under him. So he can see all the students that belongs to all those 5 swimming instructors, right? And then there's sharing rules, which you can define a rule just like validation rule. So you can define who can see what based on this rule. If this is right or true, then they can see this. Basically, you can configure an unlimited amount of possibilities as well. Manual sharing is basically manual sharing. You can share a record to another user manually. So I'm Jimmy, and I want to share a particular record that I own to another user. I can also do that by manual sharing. So that's a basic high-level overview. And you can see the chart here as well, controlling data access with the Salesforce platform on the object security, object level security, field level security, and record level security, which we just discussed actually. All right. So now we can also see there is an audit system use. Audit means who modified this record. For example, if I go back to my student here and I click Steven, for example, I want to know who modified this record for Steven and when. See, last modified by Jimmy on this date and this time. So you can audit everything. It was created by Jimmy as well, right? The login history, you can see who logs in and when they last log in. You want to take a look. For example, if I go here and I go back to my setup and then to the home tab here, and if I click on login, I type that login history, see? Now you can see who logged in, and look at that. This is my username for the Trailhead Playground. When I logged in, where I was logged in from the IP address here, right? And then what kind of login type and all the things that you can see here. Okay, so that is information. That information is useful where you want to audit and something happened and you don't know who did what, but you can track everything and pinpoint who changes what, right? It's impossible for a user to say, oh, I never did that. You have everything logged in Salesforce, so you can actually pinpoint and track who updated the last value of what record. You can track that. Okay, so field history tracking, you can also track changes of values. For example, if I change the pass, right, and then I change it back to not pass, you can see this tracked. You want to see how that happens? Let me give you a quick example of that. So if I go to my object manager and I go to opportunity and I want to track the field, right? So you go to fields and relationships and then set history tracking over here. So enable opportunity, field history. I want to track the pass here. So if somebody changes the pass, who said that this student passed swim kit 7? Who did that, right? I want to know, for example. So I save that. So I want to put it on the relation here. I'm going to edit the page on the related list there. So I'm going to click my gear icon and edit page over here. And we see the opportunity. And then I want to change I'm going to click over here. Oh no, the details tab. And here, and the related field, I want to change and add the track history. So related fields here, related list over here. I want to put history, activity history, or opportunity field, right? History. So I'm going to put it there. And if I save this, and yes, so now if I go back to my swimming kits, which is here, I'm just going to go back, leave. See here, opportunity field history. So date it's changed to past. So that's the new value. So that is field history tracking. Now setup audit trail is trail log where modifications are made to your organization configuration. For example, if I go to my setup here and change any history. So for example, I go to my login access policies and then I change something. For example, I enable this. This is also being logged, right? It's being logged. So if you have multiple admins managing your Salesforce org, you can see why this changes. Who changes this? So you can see who changes what. It's all being logged. So you know security is very important. So if something changes and you are not expecting it, you would want to know who changed that. And you can with Salesforce, all right? Which is the beauty of it. So with that, let's do the challenge. So after reading this, like 10 minutes, you would know the answer of this quiz. You can configure access to data at all of the following levels, except what? Organization, yeah. Objects, yeah. Records, not page layout, okay? You can secure data at the organization level using all these methods, except so organization level. You can limit by IP, yes. Login hours, yes. Passwords, policies, yes. I don't think you can use hardware token. But you can actually. Using your phone, right? That's a two-factor authentication. Let's see. Let's do number 3. Which of these is not a method of controlling record level access? Organization-wide default, yes. Record. Role hierarchy, yes. Profiles, no. You can do profiles to configure object level and then field level, but not record level. Sharing rules, yes. So I'm doubtful about this. Number 2, you can secure data at the organization level using all these methods. Let's see, I think they mention it here. Organization level. Well, not really. Password policies. Yeah. Limit login hours, limit IP address. I think so. Let's try. Boom! Oh, we got it, baby! I'll see you on the next module.